let's go to question 17. Digital says, what are your thoughts regarding humanoid fossils, which scientists claim are part of our human evolution? Are they people from Noah's time, offspring of angels, or part of the gap creation theory? Blessings and thanks. Okay, let's just throw out a couple of these options that you mentioned, right? So let's say we have these really old fossils that we're dating to, just super ancient times, and these things we're saying, hey, these are part of evolution. Are they people from Noah's time? Maybe they're from Noah's time, which would either put Noah's time back really far or would challenge the dating of those fossils. Like some young Earth creationist groups are often saying, hey, these datings are wrong. These datings are inaccurate. And so they'll debate the different radioactive datings methods. A lot of times young Earth creationists talk about carbon dating, but that was more of like an issue in the 90s. And so like the more relevant dating methods are actually really varied. And you need to look at like potassium argon dating, and there's other types of dating that matter. And I'm not a scientist, I'm not pretending to be. I'm just saying that if your answers are about carbon dating, you need to move into other areas and have answers for those things as well. Others would say, okay, offspring of angels. I'm not sure how many would say that. Even if they thought there were offspring of angels, they probably would have thought that was a small number of Nephilim type thing, and that's a whole other debate. Or part of the gap creationist theory. So the gap theory is often, to some people at least, the gap theory is this idea of like there being almost like two creations. So God creates the heavens and the earth, and then let me take a Genesis 1. I'll tell you, for those of you who don't know the gap theory, ask yourself in this verse, where do people find a gap? These two verses. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. Where's the gap? Right here. I highlighted it on your screen. So the gap theory is this idea that God created the heavens and the earth, and then the earth became, not, in fact, some will translate it that way. They won't say the earth was without form and void. They'll say it became without form and void. And so they'll say, hey, there's been like an initial creation. Bunch of stuff went down. All kinds of history can happen in there. And then the earth became without form and void. And so they could attribute ancient fossils to this time between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. I don't think there's much going for the gap theory personally, but that would be that view. So then you ask me, I don't think there's a gap there. I think this is a summary statement. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And then this is a continuation. And it's talking about sort of, then God goes on to make things that are both in heaven and in the earth. I think this is a Hebrew phrase, heavens and earth, for universe, modern term universe. God created everything, including like that spiritual heaven location you're thinking of. So what are my thoughts on human fossils, which scientists claim are part of our human evolution? I'm not sure. Let me put it to you this way. So I've been studying nutrition recently. Let me get more comfortable since this is a ridiculously long stream. I've been studying nutrition recently a little bit. I've been trying to get healthy. Okay, so as some of you guys know, I've got chronic back issues. I've been trying everything, and so this year, and especially the past few months, trying exercising a lot and eating very healthy and looking into nutrition a lot. See my gummy bears here? I haven't had a gummy bear or a piece of candy at all in like over 2.5 months. So I'm just trying to be extremely healthy because I'm kind of at the point where I'll do anything to make it better. So I'm studying nutrition. And as I study nutrition, there's these different nutritional like methods people have. And I'm going somewhere with this, so forgive me for taking a moment. Keto, right? Low carb. Then there's vegan. Let's just take those three diets, for example. So keto diet, people will be like, dude, you got to do keto. And there's all this list of foods you should not eat because you're on keto. Then you have, and they say, these are bad foods. Don't eat these foods. These are good foods. Those are bad foods. Then you have like low carb. Oh man, you want to lose weight. You want to get in shape. Like you just got to lower your carbs, which turns out to makes life harder actually if you're trying to lift weights and stuff. But carbs are the bad thing in this group, right? And then you have these people over here who are like vegans. And their list of foods that are acceptable are like the reverse of a lot of the keto people or the meat only people. There's another, I could add the fourth category there. If you take all of these people's lists of foods that you can't eat, you will literally have nothing to eat. So as I'm studying nutrition, I'm looking into these things, and I've basically come to a point where, for myself, I think most of these diets they don't have much going for them other than helping you control your caloric intake. So you have lower calories in than you do the amount of calories you burn. That's what all the diets seem to have in common. And there seem to be a lot of scientific studies that support this idea that not that any of these diets are bad. They just aren't what they claim to be, right? They're all fine. You can, as long as you do them carefully, you could do any of these diets if you do them carefully and with proper nutrition. But if you had asked me 2 months ago about keto, about whatever the other ones are I mentioned, all these 4 things, my answer to you would have been, I don't know, because I don't know that much about those things. I know they seem to work for some people. I couldn't pick between them. Now I have more of an informed opinion about it, and I just think, if that works for you, fine, but your low carb thing, you probably just lost a lot of water and it wasn't even fat the first week when you thought you lost a bunch of weight. And so these things, I'm more informed now. At least I'd like to think I am. It's the same way with this. With ancient fossils, you don't really know. The vast majority of those listening, when you hear stories about ancient fossils, you know this much and you're making these decisions about what you believe. I just want us to be aware of that. I'm not saying that someone who really studies this is their field, that they're not informed. I'm saying you're not. Most of the people I've talked to who believe, say, the whole evolutionary theory, the paradigm all the way from the moment of creation, what's called cosmic evolution, and before an atheist types in the comment, there is no such thing as cosmic evolution, just Google it so you don't look like a fool. And then you get to biological evolution, starting with abiogenesis and then going through the whole universal common descent, all that kind of stuff. If you have that view, most of the people who have that view, I find, don't really understand that view very well. They have this strong belief in it, but they have this very little understanding of it. And then the people who reject evolution, I find they have strong belief rejecting evolution, but they have fairly little understanding about those things. I think we're all in over our heads on most of these science-related issues. That's my bottom line. What is my opinion on humanoid fossils with science, which scientists claim are part of our human evolution? I don't know. I'm over my head on that issue. I don't know. Do I have to know? Am I supposed to always have an answer? I mean, I'd like to, but if I pretend to, then I'm just being a fool. So I think that this is the case for most of us. You're welcome to check out CRI, Creation Research International. They're a website with lots of interesting information, or Hugh Ross's Reasons to Believe. They have lots of interesting information. Or you could even look at BioLogos, who are not my favorite group in the world, but there are believers who promote full-on evolution. And I'm going to say that I will not base my whole faith on my answer to a question about ancient fossils, because it's an area I don't even understand that well.